Welcome into Outside the Box. This is being live. No.
Mine just says
Yo, what's up, guys? It's KB. Thanks for tuning in to another video here on the Outside the Box podcast YouTube channel. If you like the content you're seeing from us here, be sure to smash that like button, click the bell icon so you don't miss out on any future videos, leave a comment down below, and don't forget, hit that subscribe button. And now let's get into another original video here on the Outside the Box podcast YouTube channel.
Welcome back into episode 5 of Outside the Box College Lacrosse Podcast. We're still doing this thing. Somehow I'm in charge. And if you were around for the last 10 minutes, you would believe I shouldn't be in charge anymore.
We should have been recording that entire thing.
Dude, that would have been hilarious. Let's just say I'm having quite the Monday today as we record and get into another week of college and everything happening in that lacrosse landscape there. But before we do that, this episode of Outside the Box podcast is powered by our friends at 47, truly the best headwear and apparel in the game. And with their vast collection of collegiate gear, they will make sure you're repping your favorite college lacrosse team all season long. So use our link in the description to shop with 47 and get free shipping on all orders when you join the 47 family. Just make it account as it's FREE, free, the free 99. And start earning points on every purchase you make and turn those points into free gear. Again, use our link in the description to shop with 47 and get FREE, free shipping on all orders when you join the 47 family. Shout out to 47 for being a proud partner of OTB and the official headwear partner of Underground Industries. Speaking of Underground Industries, I'm going to tell you to subscribe and follow the pod circuit absolutely everywhere. That's going to get you access to all of our pods, the flagship pod, Underground Sports, Outside the Box podcast, streamer season, getting the whole top bins and all the other fun stuff we do, like the flame and intermediate things in there. That is at the Underground Industries on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, etc. Twitter, it is at the U Industries because, character count and all that weird stuff. Make sure you follow the pod, Outside the Box Lacrosse Podcast. Oh, my God. You would think I've done this before. OTB at OTB on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, everywhere. Then when you're on YouTube, it's youtube.com/Outside the Box Podcast. Make sure you are subscribed there so we can continue to do the fun things that we're doing here. And I can finally figure out how to do an intro one of these weeks. Maybe, maybe not. Don't forget to follow my nephew across from me at Hoots Sport Media on all platforms, Instagram, Facebook, or not Facebook, I guess. Well,
I do have a Facebook page, technically.
You might technically find them under that because I'm sure it's connected through all of there, but Twitter and all TikTok and all the other fun places, that's the place you want to see this guy. He's a wizard with the camera. Trust me, the man does amazing work. So make sure you're following him over there. You can follow me on Instagram at Uncle Deej12, and then follow me on Twitter at SCS_next. Great. How are you doing, Neff? So I can stop talking and figure my stuff out over here, man.
Doing great. Had a productive day. Built like 95, 96% of a bookshelf prior to this. So okay. My body's a little sore now. It's like the biggest bookshelf I've ever put together in my life. Went to the card shop, which is fun. I'm just saying, I'm a little handy sometimes.
This subtle flex,
But yeah, went to the card shop, got some cool stuff. Shot DU Cornell this weekend, so that was fun. Other than that, it was pretty low key for the first time in a while. So
yeah, but before we blitz the people with all of the good lacrosse that we got this past week. This weekend was very sad for me. Michigan lost to Duke. Sad face. Michigan lacrosse also lost to Army. Sad face. things just didn't go the way I wanted them to at all. And it stung for quite some time. But I'm alive. I'm here. I'm okay. I got pulled into impromptu family dinner tonight, so that was kind of fun, and also delayed recording, so that may be part of the reason why I can't do an intro tonight either. So give me some grace. But no, we're here to have some fun and talk about what we got into this past weekend. We're going to do something a little different this time. We normally throw this monkey wrench in the middle. I want to start off with your field report and what you were doing this past weekend, what you got to see, and walk us through your weekend.
Yeah, I mean Denver Cornell played. It was I think a very actually close game, even though the final score didn't depict that. It just kind of got to a point where Cornell just went on like this massive run in the fourth quarter, scored 6 straight. And Denver just didn't have an answer. They couldn't win a face-off towards the end. It was just one of those games, I think, where, I mean, there was one where Grayson Manning saved the ball at his feet, and it literally all of a sudden trickles by him. Just one of those games, and it was just, there was nothing they could do. But, I mean, Ryan Goldstein and Willem Firth, pretty good at lacrosse. That's all I can say. I don't know. It's tough for the Piles when you score 6, or that you let them score 6 goals twice in 2 different quarters, and you go 3-3-2-1. That fourth quarter was just abysmal for their offense. And again, like I said, they couldn't get anything going on that faceoff dot. And then defensively, it just felt like kind of once it started raining, it was pouring. Cornell, once they scored a couple goals, they were start celebrating with their bench. And it was, I mean, they actually had a pretty good crowd, surprisingly, that traveled with them. And all of a sudden, it was like they were the only ones cheering. So I liked the win for Cornell. I would have liked to see a little bit more fight out of Denver late, but overall, very entertaining game, aside from that kind of blowout fourth quarter.
I mean, okay, so 5 weeks in, what's a little temperature check for how things are in Peter Barton Stadium, and what are some, maybe one thing you like about the squad, but then 1 or 2 things that you feel they could work on?
I mean, we'll start with the one thing I dislike. I dislike how when things go poorly, they just keep going poorly. Like there isn't like a stoppage. A lot of times like you want the offense to kind of stop the bleeding, and like that just didn't happen. And this is now 2 weeks in a row. I know they snuck out the win against Utah, but like they played about as poorly as you could against Utah. And it just so happened that Utah isn't as good of a team as Cornell and couldn't capitalize. And now you look at it again where it's like, all right, man, like you had the lead. You had a 2-goal lead, in the third quarter, I think it was. And to go from that to losing by 4 is just like such a disappointment. I also really dislike how it really relies and comes around Cody Malosky getting shut down goal-wise. The fact that he had 0 goals in this game, he had 2 assists, but he's got to get going. I know that he's drawn the number 1 matchup, but like everyone else kind of looks discombobulated when they take him out. And it's just like, he might have a touch here or there, but for the most part, it's everybody else is having to eat. And when that isn't happening, then the offense is nowhere to be found. So that's those couple things I dislike. They definitely need to fix. Some things I do like, I think they have some bright spots on offense. I think honestly, if they could just win a few more faceoffs, I think their offense would be much, much better. And just getting more shots on goal would be huge for them. And I do think Grayson Manning still is a great goalie. I just think there are times where his defense kind of leaves him out to dry a bit. And by the time they find a rhythm, it's already too late. So I don't know. Again, it's hard because they didn't play any, real big competition. And the first time they do, they give up a 2-goal lead and lose by 4. But they have a big test against Michigan this week as well. So we'll kind of see where that leads. But biggest thing is just get Cody Malosky the ball and let him cook.
That's the game plan on offense. Give him the ball and get out the way. cut and hopefully have your head up because, the guy can pass the rock as well. If the guy's open, he'll get it to him. But, okay, I like where your head is with that. I don't think it's – they've shown a lot of good things. They've shown a lot of bad things. Sometimes that makes it hard to dwindle down to one or two things, but I think you did a pretty solid job of picking a couple of things that if they did fix them would make this team tremendously better. And obviously they have their eyes on a playoff spot. So it's going to be interesting to see if they get into that NCAA tournament. But anything else for you this weekend? Were you out doing anything else in the world?
No. Denver Club was out in Utah for a tournament, so didn't have anything for them this week. No Air Force for me this week. So.
And the Mammoth were on the road, right?
Yeah, they were in Toronto on Saturday. What did I do? I feel like I did something else. Maybe I really did just shoot that game. What did I do Friday? I don't even know. It's only Monday. I feel like it's been
man, bro. It feels like it's
years,
been
dude.
Yes.
What? Oh, they were away Friday night. That's what I did Friday night. Then Saturday is when I shot the game. Goodness gracious. Okay.
But yeah,
only Monday. Wow.
Not bad. Let's hop into this landscape. I don't know which side to start on. I almost should just flip a coin. There were upsets on both the men's and women's side. Let's jump in here on the women's side. The first one I wanted to bring up, I bet a lot of people could imagine where I want to go with this. Michigan takes down Boston College 10-9 in triple overtime. It's a huge win for Michigan. Historic loss for Boston College. They're 0-3 for the first time in what feels like forever. But there are some things that are pretty alarming about this game. Boston College was held scoreless in the second quarter. They also only scored one goal in the fourth quarter. And Michigan was just tremendously low scoring in this entire game. 3-2-2-2 and 1. Boston College had a 6 spot in the third quarter. I'm very confused at how this game works out that way. Neither of these teams, well, first off, the Michigan part makes sense. They didn't really score goals the entire game. They were very consistent, honestly, throughout the entire game. It was 3 goals, then it was 2 goals down to 1. Like, that's solid, actually. The other side, though, going so lopsided in the scoring and having a really solid third quarter, it screams Michigan got complacent, maybe. Their defense felt like they maybe had it in the bag. I'm not sure because I don't know how this burst of offense happens. Obviously, you feel like you have to do something. You have to get back in the game. You start going a little harder, but it just screams alarm bells for me on both sides. Like, does it take all of that for Boston College to be in, get to their best? And Michigan, how do you allow a run like that to happen?
Trying to pull up their team stats too to see yeah, I mean the game was dead even.
Yeah. But Michigan was just very consistent with it the entire game. Everything was just the same for them the entire game. They played the same game. But Boston College was kind of all over the place. And I kind of feel like they've been kind of up and down like that in the 3 games they've played this entire season. And also, like, I understand they've been playing a lot of really good teams, a lot of highly ranked teams. But they got to be dropping in the rankings this week, right?
Dare I even say unranked?
I mean, they're 0-3. I know Michigan's a top 10 team. I know they haven't lost to anybody outside of the top 10, but like,
I mean, Michigan wasn't even ranked.
yeah, they are. They're 10.
At least on Boston College's website. It shows Notre Dame they played last week is ranked 16. Maybe it is and it's not updated. Either which way,
fair.
though. They lost by 8 the first game.
On Michigan,
lost
they're
by
ranking
3,
them 10.
and then lost 1.
Or on ESPN, they're ranking them 10.
So maybe they are, and it's just not showing.
Yeah,
but I mean, either way,
it's always
it's
so
not
different. But yeah,
it's like their losses are getting closer. But
I don't care. I don't care the fact that they're 0-3.
Yeah.
How do you have a ranked 0-3 team that highly ranked? If you're gonna rank them, especially in a sport where you have 25, the highest I can see them is the teens.
Better be 19
at 0-3. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe I can get away with a 17. I could feel decent with a 17, But it's like, all right, yeah, they did play 3 top 10 teams. So they may be 0-3, but they're definitely better than a couple of these 2-1 teams that haven't played the caliber of teams they have played. I could get jiggy with that. But them still being top 10 or higher would be nuts to me. John Hopkins took down Penn. They're 4-0. The Big Ten is looking phenomenal on the women's side of things. Florida and Clemson 14-13. What was a great battle there. Duke took down Richmond 15-14. Loyola beat Princeton 14-10. 19 takes down 16 or 6. Okay. Do you understand what the philosophy is behind like the Ivy League starting so much later than everybody else?
Couldn't tell you.
Like, anybody out there know? Does it have something to do with like when they go to school and like how their semesters and everything are broken down, or like what is happening there? I don't understand why they choose to wait so long. It makes no sense to me. What is your opinion on the whole scheduling scenario that's going on with lacrosse? Because I feel like the women's side has it down to a T, a lot better. I don't know if you've kind of noticed when we've been talking through this, but like a lot of these women's teams are playing a midweek game and then playing a weekend game. Or if they play Friday, they're playing again on Sunday or Monday the following week. Like, they're playing multiple games within a week, and they're getting up to that, 18 games a week or 18 games a season kind of vibe. Like, is it really that hard for the men's side to do it? Like, what's your opinion on that whole debacle?
Nah. First off, Google says the Ivy League start later to prioritize academics over athletics. Maybe that's true, maybe that's not. I have no idea. But my opinion on the scheduling, honestly, just go listen to Gary Gate talk about this last week. He talked about it to the media. It's basically exactly what he said, where like we all want these primetime television spots, but no one wants to play outside of 12 p.m., 1 p.m. on a Saturday. Everyone wants to play at noon or 2 p.m. Eastern. Like, if that's the case, we're not getting on TV. People can't watch the games. Like you're saying, there's a lot more schedule conflicts. It's a lot harder as fans to even pay attention to every single thing that's going on, because if you're at a game or if you're watching a game on TV, even if you're flipping, you're still missing stuff. And like you're saying, like if you look at the women's schedule, how many games are played every single day? Obviously, we can't always all watch at work and stuff, but it's nice to at least have a day where it's like, oh, there was these 3 games today. What happened on these 3? And then tomorrow, here's a couple games. And whereas men's, it's like, hey, here's Saturday. here's Here's 20 games Saturday. Hope you like it. Here's Sunday with another 15. Like, it's really hard then to like pay attention to every single thing that's going on. And again, like I started with this with, like, you can't. There's not enough TV channels to put these games on because no one wants to play midweek or night games. Why we aren't playing night games, I have no clue. Like, I know some schools are starting to do it, but
yeah, I 100% agree. These places have lights. Play night games. Like, students love night games. Players love night games. Everybody likes a night game as long as it's not a West Coast night game, because that ain't a night game. That's a midnight game, and I ain't trying to watch that. But like, seriously, like, that's like, those are the kind of formulas we need to see continued success within lacrosse. But let's bounce over to the men's side of things. We already talked that Denver game. Where do you want to start? Do we want to start Friday night, or do we want to start somewhere else?
Let's jump to the UNC Hopkins game.
Yeah, I mean, UNC goes out and pretty much dominates Hopkins. I mean, it pretty much just said, "Hey, yoo-hoo, I'm your daddy. You came to Chapel Hill, and you thought you were going to grab a dub. But let me tell you a little something. We don't roll like that." They had a 6 spot and a 5 spot later in this game in third and fourth quarter. Hopkins put up 2 1 spots, and that's not good. And that's also in the bookend quarters. I think every person feels differently, and especially with the way they value sports and look at sports. What quarters are more important, your bookend quarters or your middle quarters? In your opinions,
the bookend, because you gotta be able to start hot and finish hot. Like, I've seen, granted, I'm probably biased because I've seen the Mammoth do this a ton, where like when they don't start hot and they get really hot in the middle quarters, they still lose games because they always trickle off at the end. Whereas if you start hot, even if you have a down second and third quarter, you know we're gonna come finish the game. And this is a prime example where Hopkins couldn't stop UNC at all. And even though they had good offensive quarters, realistically speaking, even in those quarters, they were still outscored by 2. And I mean, if especially when you already score 1 goal in that first quarter and you come out in the fourth and you put up another just 1, like, that's a time to start unloading the tank, like everything you have. And unfortunately, Hopkins just didn't do any of that.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think you got to be able to start and finish well. More importantly, finish well. You can start a little slow all you want, but you got to be able to finish as well as you possibly can. So I would have to go bookends as well, but some people really feel like those middle quarters are where a lot of teams take advantage because other teams are dying down. So they're just as important as those bookends, but, for an opposite reason. And everybody has a different philosophy behind their thinking. I did just wanted to poke into yours, but what are you seeing there besides the domination from the Tar Heels?
I mean, they got some players, is all I can say. Owen Duffy with 4 goals alone is great. How do you say Dominic's name, his last name? Do you know?
Let me take a look at it.
Pietramala? We'll go with that.
Petramala.
Petramala? All right.
Yeah.
It's a wild name. But, I mean, 5 goals from him as well.
His pops. Who? Dave Petramala. He former DPOL, coaches at, I think, Hop now.
For the men's?
Yeah. He's the assistant.
You're telling me he just put up 5 goals against his dad?
Yeah. I'm almost positive. Hold on.
If that's the case, maybe time to head to retirement.
Oh no, he's the coordinator. He's the D coordinator
UNC
at Carolina. Yeah.
All right, good. I was gonna say
he's
he can't be
coaching
doing
under
that.
him now. But yeah, no, he was at either Hop or maybe he started at Hop and then moved over to Hughes, or vice versa, one of the two, and now he's at UNC. But
All right.
yeah,
But either which way, he popped off. I mean, 9 goals between those two. It's just absurd. And again, like they were super consistent. I thought their stars popped the way they should, and they still got contributions from several others, even though it was just 1 or 2 points here and there. Like that type of stuff really matters in my opinion. Whereas you look at Hopkins and they only had, 5 points between their top 2 guys. When you're comparing that to 9 goals between UNC's 2 guys, it's kind of a big difference. And like coming into the game, I jokingly said that it was like a battle for the baby blue, and UNC clearly felt that it's rightfully theirs. I mean, to me, 8 goals is a blowout. I don't know if everyone agrees because we know how fast lacrosse can change, but not a great look, in my opinion, to get blown out.
That's a good question to throw out there. Like, what's a blowout in lacrosse? Maybe 12, 15? Something that feels like surmountable. Because, like, that's the thing. Even in basketball, like, most blowout, like, people start feeling like it's blowout about 20, 25. But, like, that's a very, like, surmountable lead depending on, you got 10 minutes left in the game. That's a surmountable lead.
Yeah.
So to say, like, 12, like, that with 10 minutes left in the game, that's kind of surmountable. Like, you catch fire and you play and make it take it. Like, that's... You can score 12 before you know it. So it's like, maybe not. Maybe it's...
I think 8 is a blowout in college, even more so than it is NLL or PLL, because you have a longer shot clock, so you can hold the ball a lot more, which limits any opportunity for that other team to come back. Whereas like NLL specifically, you're going like this.
They do still have to get that ball.
No, absolutely. But if you're already up 8, chances are you're getting the ball.
Right. Yeah, you got a point.
But like I said, not everyone agrees as to what a blowout is. Even if it's not considered a blowout, don't feel great losing by 8.
Nah, facts. You can. I don't know if I cut you off asking that.
No, you're good.
Okay. But yeah, that was the only really notable game on Friday, and UNC really made that look way too easy. Saturday was quite the day. Army, they did the thing. This is actually a really good game. Michigan's games this year have been absolutely fantastic. The energy in these games has been great. They've been back and forth games where both offenses have been able to, showcase the best of their abilities. And Navy, my fault.
They're going to come for you.
Please don't. Gunnar Fellows does what Gunnar Fellows does. I mean, for Geno's, the guy is great. Braden Fountain, he comes in with a hat trick as well. They held the Plunkett brothers in check for the most part. I mean, kind of. They both had a goal and 3 assists.
I mean, they dished the rock well, but...
I say, yeah, they both had a goal and 3 assists. Like, I mean, yeah, but, like, no. But...
I mean, 1 for 8 and 1 for 9 shooting.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like offensively, they weren't huge outside of the playmaking game. Michigan got contributions kind of a little all over the place. Matt Hahn really kind of showcasing his first big day in a Wolverine jersey. He had 2 goals. You got another 2 from Nick Rude, who's been great for you down at attack. And Jack Jenkins pops in. He grabs a couple goals as well in this game. But at the end of the day, it just Army ended up scoring a couple late ones, and they stole that game down in Atlanta from Michigan.
Yeah, I mean, that third quarter was killer for Michigan to go. Outside of that, they played super consistent game, and at least offensively. Actually, defensively, too, for the most part. That first half, I thought they were much better than they were the second half defensively. But I mean, literally, if they just pick it up a little bit in the third quarter, this is a totally different game, in my opinion. Which is why I don't feel too bad about it. It sucks to drop the 3-2, obviously, but Gunnar Fellows is that guy.
Yeah, I mean, you are in fact a big Gunnar Fellows fan, so
I just like his name, and he goes to Army. It fits so perfectly. Like
it is it's a very sick name.
it's an all-time name.
I cannot argue with that at all. There's some other notable games that went down, including some pretty big upsets. Starting with one that also had another academy in it, the one that I just referenced by accident, the Naval Academy takes down Penn State 12-11 at home. Huge game for them. What did you kind of take away from what you could see happening in this game?
Actually, it had less to do with the actual game itself and more to do with how good actually is Penn State and how good actually is Princeton after Penn State just beat Princeton and now it's upset by Navy. I know that it's not always, equal, but that was kind of my first thought when I saw the score come through. I was like, oh, wow. Like, what? And the funny thing is, we just talked about Michigan only having, a one-goal third quarter. Navy had a one-goal third quarter and still pulled out the dub. So, I mean, defensively, what more can you really ask for, honestly? And on top of that, again, like we've been talking about, they got huge contributions. Mac Haley with 5 points, William Goers with 4 points, a couple others with 2, and Penn State. I mean, they were still fine. I'm not mad about how they played. I'm just super confused as to are they actually good? Like, did they just happen to have a really good day against Princeton? It's looking like it. Is this maybe just also a really good game from Navy? Could also be that too. But I feel like I left this game with a little bit more questions than I probably entered the day with.
I kind of feel like the opposite. I kind of feel a little more solidified in the fact that I kind of feel like Penn State is frauds. Remember, I was saying last week that they were going to have serious problems in the Big Ten if this was what their games were going to look like.
You did say that.
And they came out the next week, and here they are with another game that looks like that. Like, I really feel like they are really going to struggle within conference play this year because they're going to play some very consistent offense. Like we just talked about Michigan, who had one bad quarter, but the rest of that game, as you mentioned, was very consistent for them offensively. They scored 4, 3, and 3 goals in their other 3 quarters in that game. And they have what I dislike so much about the offense is it's a very isolated offense, very ISO game type offense, but the guys beat their guys and they score. And then when they draw the slide, they know to hit the open guy. Like, it works at the same time. Like, you have Bo. What's Bo's last name? Lockwood. Bo Lockwood's playing the X for them. So he's been doing a lot of distributing from there. And then you have Nick Root and Alex Lobel, who have been on the attack. And then Matt Hahn and Shanahan have been great up in the midfield so far in creating opportunities there. So, and also my guy Alex Gatto, who's been absolutely fantastic. I got a chance to coach him at a summer camp. I coached that way back in the day, fresh out of my freshman and sophomore year of college. So that was really cool doing that over the summer and seeing him now flourish and get to play there at the highest level. It's been awesome. But he's been also providing some input for them as well on both the offensive end and in transition. So, Michigan even is going to be a tough out for them. So they're going to want to turn it on. Penn State is, if they're going to make this happen. But, hey, like you said, I just feel solidified in the fact that I don't think they're that good. I do still think Navy had a great game, so I'm not taking anything away from Navy. They came out and they played hard. They did everything they had to do in the correct way, made the right saves at the right times, capitalized on all the mistakes. And, they were able to score more goals than Penn State put out there. That's the name of the game. And us being concerned with Penn State and how good they really are doesn't take away from the efforts that Navy put out in this game whatsoever. What else happened this weekend? Oh, yeah, you brought up a certain team that started with a P, also started with a P. Princeton. You said you were wondering how good they were because they lost to Penn State. Maybe Penn State just had a really good game that day, and now they're, not playing good against everybody else. I'm starting to lean toward that theory because Princeton may or may not have taken care of business this weekend against the number 2 team in the country. Princeton goes on the road and takes down Maryland 13-12. What's your feelings on this?
I mean, I feel like beginning of the year, I think I picked Princeton to go to the Final Four and win it all. And there were a couple people out there that said, you're smoking crack. But I'm just saying they look pretty good aside from that one Penn State loss. I'm just saying. Also, Maryland, would have liked to see them pick up, one of the games against Syracuse or Princeton, and they dropped both. So not great look for them overall, especially because now you got to go play Notre Dame next week. But overall, super gritty game. I thought, these are types of games that I think if you want to be a Final Four team, a national championship contender, you kind of have to win. I know it's early in the season and there's a lot that can change, both team-wise and just the rest of the conference standings and all that stuff wise. But when you're getting the contributions that they did, Chad Palumbo, 4 points with a good bounce back. I know he didn't start too hot against Penn State, so that was good to see. And they got a few other guys that I thought played really well. Eric Spanos, again, another guy with 4 goals. He kind of got his, which isn't necessarily surprising. But yeah, it just kind of seemed like both teams got off to a hot start, and then that kind of ended for Maryland in that second quarter, and it crushed them because then they gave up that extra goal in the third, and that literally was the game ender essentially for them. So I love it for Princeton. I still think Maryland's a very good team, but I think they have a lot to figure out here down the stretch. You have that big win against Loyola Maryland that first week, and then just 2 straight L's, which sucks.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the Big Ten's a gauntlet. You want to be playing some of your best ball rolling into that conference play against Big Ten teams. And right now, both Penn State and Maryland are kind of struggling with that. I do think there's some wiggle room and some opportunities for them to make it back to the top where they're used to being. But there's some things that they definitely have to fix, and you hit a lot of them right on the head. But there is one more game that was quite shocking this weekend. Do you know which one I'm referencing?
I believe you're talking about Hughes Harvard.
Yes, sir. That would be correct. What are your opinions on what we saw in this game?
I mean, what do we always say? You can't go scoreless in a quarter and win a game. And that's exactly what Syracuse did. They had 3 spectacular offensive quarters with 4 goals in the first, third, and fourth quarters. But that second quarter was 0. The fact that they got out to a 4-1 lead and then gave up 5 unanswered in that second quarter is insane to me. I believe at one point Harvard had a 3-goal lead, if I'm not mistaken. Someone was telling me, yeah, so. They were up 10-7 at one point. And Syracuse battled back. They're late. It actually took a 2-goal lead. So I don't know what happened down the stretch in that fourth quarter, but to just go, give up 3 straight to Harvard, and let them beat you like that is crazy. Harvard's a good team, not taking anything away from them, but for a team like Syracuse that, everyone has kind of penciled in as a national championship contender, didn't like to see that too early on. I'll let you speak on that since you with your laugh. I didn't say that obviously, but they still got good contribution, but just not enough, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you there. It's interesting to see, them go back and forth with teams. It seems like, obviously they had that number one target on their back, but also it just seems like teams have felt that way the entire time. Excuse me. Spallina does what he does, the 2-1. I mean, Michael Leo was great with 1-4 in this game. I mean, Luke Roa does what he does, scores 3 goals. I swear the guy doesn't pass the ball, shooter only. Like, they have the guys and the pieces. Harvard just played a really solid game, and you can kind of tell they wanted this just a little bit more than Hughes wanted at the time, and that really plays a factor in some of these games when it really comes down to it. Is you got to be able to go out and prove why you want it more than the team across from you, and Harvard was able to do that. What you got on Georgetown, Notre Dame?
I don't know. Notre Dame's an interesting one, just with the turnover they've had. I'm trying to pull this up right here.
Georgetown's an interesting team. Kevin Miller.
Oh, absolutely.
3 goals. Roy Connor, 9 goals. 4 goals. Liam Connor, 1 goal. Jack Schubert. Jack Schubert, 1 goal, 1 assist. Joe Cesare, 2 assists. Liam Connor, 1 assist. Patrick Krogan, 1 assist. Bro, she has so many left over. Just give them to me. There's all kind of. I'm just saying, like, this is crazy. Like, there's no real contributions on this team at all, and that's Georgetown.
Yeah.
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame had a lot.
Josh Diego goes for 3. Will Angrick goes for 3. We got Luke Miller, Will Maharis, Teddy Lowley all going for 2. Miguel Iglesias goes for 1. Brock Berman. This is nuts. So spread out, but like it feels weird. I don't know the last time Notre Dame was spread out offensively like that. I guess when Eric Dobson was there with Pat and Chris, Jake Taylor was still in on that action.
I don't know, but I like it. It's a good style to play, and especially when you're forcing 19 turnovers as well. That's the biggest thing to me that sticks out the most, aside from obviously Georgetown not getting a ton of huge contribution. Just when you're turning the ball over like that, I mean, you kind of got to expect to lose by 6 at that point. And it wasn't like Notre Dame was like super consistent offensively throughout the game either. Like they just had a really big second quarter, and then kind of just, I don't want to say coasted the rest of the way, but you put up 3 and 4 respectively. Like that's really solid. And Georgetown, like we already touched on, just didn't ever get anything put together. It was 2 here, 2 here. Finally, that third quarter, they have a big 4 goal run. Not run, but 4 goal score, and then back to 1 for the fourth quarter. Like it just goes back to our conversation earlier about you got to at least finish the game strongly, and I don't feel like Georgetown is doing that right now, sitting at 1 and 2.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think that they really got to turn it on, and they're going to have to win their conference if they're going to win a spot in the tournament. Looking ahead to next week, Syracuse and Princeton are going to battle 4 p.m. ESPN Plus. North Carolina, Pennsylvania, ESPN Plus 5 p.m. Those games are both on Friday. Saturday is where the action starts popping off again. Maryland or Notre Dame at Maryland, Big Ten Plus. Richmond at Cornell, ESPN Plus at noon. Which, oh my Jesus! Ohio State at Georgetown, noon, ESPN Plus as well. Fourth ranked Harvard taking on Marquette. Michigan at Denver. Hopkins University at Virginia. These are all great matchups. Sunday, Syracuse and Penn, North Carolina and Princeton, St. Joe's and Duke. What did we do to get spoiled like this? My God, anything reach out to you in that men's slate?
Sunday, Princeton, North Carolina. I'm excited for that one. Let me go back real quick to Saturday. Richmond, Cornell. Two teams that I think people are not looking at sideways, but just kind of like, are you as good as we think you are type of thing. Again, Maryland, Notre Dame, I think is going to be fireworks. Hopkins, Virginia. There's a lot. Also, I don't know if your schedule shows this, but on Friday, it shows Syracuse and Princeton twice.
I only saw it once, but sometimes it does glitch out like that.
Okay. I assume they wouldn't play 2 in one day, but
Never know.
I'm here for it if they do.
Never know. Taking a look here at the women's slate. Is it really going to make us wait until the weekend for the really good matchup? They might also all be done. Well, no.
There's a lot going on.
Florida and Navy, Northwestern, Stony Brook, Stanford and Virginia, Pittsburgh at Notre Dame, Yale at Michigan, Clemson at Boston College, Loyola at Penn, Penn State at Cornell, Princeton at Maryland. Women's state is slapping. Colorado at Army on Sunday. Anything peek out at you in the women's slate?
I mean, I'm going to keep an eye on Boston College for obvious reasons. They're just on a slide, and I just want to see if they can correct it, pretty much. This is, again, a plea for NCAA to add rankings on their website, please. That would be huge, so I can actually talk about this in confidence, but let me scroll. The nice thing about the women's slate is there's enough games to where there's going to be something for everybody. Because it seems like every possible school plays this weekend.
Yeah. And they don't really seem to have a problem getting people to play each other.
Right.
At all. I like that idea. I mean, more people need to follow that regimen and figure out how to do that for their leagues and conferences and such. But one more thing we got to do, like we always do. That's our Riverside games of the week. They're powered by, you guessed it, Riverside. We made the switch to Riverside a couple months ago as a company. It has changed our entire productivity level on its head, from enhanced audio quality in episodes, easy to use editing tools, including a built-in editing bay for all of our shows on the network, and the fastest way to cut clips, segments, and funny moments for all of our shows. Plus, it is an absolute bargain compared to the competitors. Use our link in the description to get your podcast, webinars, or video projects looking and sounding pristine with Riverside. Nephew, where you starting? Where's your Riverside game of the week?
My Riverside game of the week is Syracuse Princeton.
Okay. Talk to me. What's up?
I always pick the obvious picks, but it's for a good reason. All right. I think, the stars in this game. Um, I like Chad Palumbo, obviously. I like Joey Spallina. I think there's a lot of just star power in general. But also, I think you got two teams that have national championship aspirations. And so far to start the year, they aren't feeling bad about themselves, but they probably aren't feeling as good as they want to be right now. And I just think it's an interesting matchup, battle of the oranges, a little bit, kind of like that Hopkins UNC game last week, battling for that baby blue. So um, overall, I'm just excited to see the star power that's going to be in this game and kind of how like the chess match unfolds. Is it going to be more high scoring or is it going to be a little bit more tactical and defensive minded? So a lot of good options this week, but that's the one I'm most excited for.
Yeah, and I got to kick it old school. Go with my Richmond fellers. They're going to be taking on the Big Red Cornell. Two undefeated teams, a top 5 matchup. It's going to be on ESPN Plus, very viewable. Two teams that are similar to each other, lost a lot of offensive talent, reloaded some of that offensive talent. Their defenses are the strong point of their team. Solid goalie on the back end, and their transition game, their rope unit, it all looks good. So only one team can come out on top, and I really do think that's going to be an exciting game and one that everybody should be having their eyes on. But with that being said, do you got anything else before we close this thing on out? Oh, almost
I was
forgot
going
to
to look
ask.
over to see if what Lee's McRae's doing
Yeah,
this week. I'm trying to find him right now. Do
I
they
can
not
pull
play
up.
this? Oh, here we go. They play Saturday the 28th against, is it Chowan? Chowan? Chowan?
I think it's showing.
Either which way. That's who they play. I just realized they lost last week and dropped to 2-4.
Darn.
So I thought my speech last week was gonna get the boys riled up, but I guess not. So, actually, they got killed on Saturday against Lenore Rhine, 19-3.
Oof,
So,
that hurts.
so you know what? Let's just forget about that and go try to beat a team that's 0-2 right now.
Yeah, I mean Adrian's 0-3. We're rough right now, coming off a loss to Worcester on the 21st. So gonna look to get back at Ohio Wesleyan on Tuesday as you guys are listening to this. Then there's Wittenberg on Saturday. So a couple opportunities in this week before they got to play some tougher teams once again. But yeah, that's going to do it for us here. Make sure you are subscribed to the pod at The Underground Industries on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all the good places. On Twitter, it is at DU Industries. Make sure you're subscribed to Outside the Box Lacrosse Podcast on YouTube. That's youtube.com/outside the box podcast. You can follow them on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok at OTB Pod. Don't forget to follow my nephew across from me, Hoot Sport Media, and on all platforms. You can find me, Unc here, at Uncle Deej 12 on Instagram. You can find me on Twitter at SCS_next. Great. Continue to subscribe. Continue to hang out with us. Continue to have fun and watch all that good lacrosse out there. We got you with a Blitz episode this week, but next week we'll sit down, break down some more things as make some predictions with conferences getting ready to start conference play, and talk about who we think will win conferences and who will win conference tournaments, what the NCAA tournament will kind of look like, and a brief overview and way too early prediction for a lot of that stuff. So enjoy your weekend. Watch a lot of good lacrosse this week, and we will be back with another episode of Outside the Box College Lacrosse Podcast. Peace.
Peace.